Hello and welcome to the Writing Platform, our last video blog for our project about poetry and Minecraft. I'm here with Victoria Bennett.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about the structure, the form and the whys and wherefores of our project. There's also an accompanying video that will show you kind of a walkthrough of the final thing, but we're not going to do that right now. It'll take too long, and what I suppose I want to do is to sort of talk and show you what some of the things that went on with this build, and also talk about kind of how the poem came to be and all that kind of stuff. Yeah?
Okay. So before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about what happened during the Writing Platform bursary process. Just before Christmas, so that's December 2014, I found out that my mother has terminal mesothelioma, which is a cancer caused by asbestos exposure. And it's meant that over the last few months, I have been with her and caring for her, and also sharing this last part of her journey, the cancer's late stage. And that's what, as well as writing, that's what I've been doing. So what's happened is what began as a bursary project became a writing process where I started to write about that journey and about the way that we move through letting somebody go that we love when it comes to the end of a life. So that is why the piece has ended up being called My Mother's House. It began with a simple line, which is the line is actually from the Bible, which is in my father's house are many rooms. It might be mansions or many rooms, but it became, in my mind, in my mother's house are many rooms. And so this poem has become about how we move through those rooms of a life and close them up.
Okay. So this is like kind of, where art and writing and Minecraft and all this kind of stuff and life all meets together. We've made this kind of foresty kind of area with a path that leads to this quite nice looking house, actually.
I wanted to explore that idea of the fairy tale as well, childhood fairy tale, and that playful element of that, and that storytelling, I suppose.
Yeah. So this is kind of that.
It becomes a once upon a time in the dark woods.
Yeah.
There was a house.
And there's our title above, floating in space above it. Now, as we go in, we're not going to go too far, and we're not going to give spoilers, but we'll just we'll go a little bit far in. So as I walk on one of these pressure plates, and I'm going to break that one off and click this one, and then just break.
In
this
my
one
mother's
behind.
house are many rooms, each one to be closed at the end of a life.
So what we're hearing now is we're hearing Victoria.
Away,
we've got custom sounds that we're able to
Close
put inside the poem, inside the map itself. And
this is her leaving,
and we
her
can hear
dreaming
the first
good
part,
night.
the first stanza.
Each room.
So again, it's that kind of, for us, it's about putting a lot of words and imagery within the kind of within this space to not support the poem, really, is it? It's more of a.
One of the things we started looking at is the idea of the poem being divided into stanzas, and stanzas being translated as room. And so what happens? How do we journey through a poem? How do we journey through the process of reading a poem? How does a poem move us on? So this becomes, each room becomes a stanza, and we are literally, the game is kind of moving us through. We are moving through. Yeah. So they're not representations of the stanza. They're more the rooms that the stanza are held in, and
like
the way
the page.
that we've it's the page that surrounds it, but also the imagination that surrounds that text. It's what we bring.
So there's all these things in here, and we're using Minecraft to almost look like theatre and almost like illustrations as well. Almost.
Word of the day. These are rooms. These are literally rooms. Yeah. And each inside of these rooms are things that are important. They're important to the poem. They're important as well because they they tell a story. They tell a story of my mother. They tell a story of her life.
And video games are very in Minecraft is very personal. You know, we kids all over the world, they make their own thing. Okay, when we make a digital artifact, it is our thing, the thing that we made. So we have personal attachment to it, and that's I think one of the strengths of Minecraft, that we have personal attachments to the stuff that we make.
So we're not actually going to move through all of the rooms, because
No.
I think that it's important that you have the opportunity to make that journey yourself.
Yeah.
So what we're doing really, though, is we're looking at the idea of moving along the poem, but within a three-dimensional space, digital space. The poem retells a life. It also moves through a process of letting go. We looked at the structure of the labyrinth, didn't we, right at the beginning?
Yeah.
Think back to our first vlogs.
Yeah.
That's become part of it as well, because the actual structure, although you can't see it from within here, the structure of the build resembles the structure of a poem.
Yeah.
It resembles the structure of this poem on the page.
Yeah, and there's pieces in the far distance as well, which we teleport players around, and then we can almost come back to the beginning as well. So that's kind of...
Yeah, it is. So each thing is like a slice of the writing, and we've used the circle motif to echo that idea of the labyrinth, that when you move within a labyrinth, you begin and end in the same place, but you are changed from it. So we're doing that in this piece as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I had to kind of really question in myself is whether it was appropriate to have this subject matter within a video game, which meant I had to really think about what is a video game. What is the meaning of a game? And it became really apparent that a video game it is what you want it to be. It can be a whole heap of things. So even within this, we've created a map that you could just go around, explore, find things, take a look around, sit down. Well, I don't think you can sit, but you could just explore it. It's an independent map. It doesn't have to be engaged with the subject matter in a way. It becomes a visual interpretation of the poem. You could actually take the whole of the text out and still play this map.
Yeah.
But when you start putting it with the text, the two start interacting with each other, and then it becomes a way of experiencing a poem in more ways, in more layers, which is what I wanted to do. That's what interested me about this collaboration, was how can, when we take literature and we place it with video game, how can the two interact so that both bring extra layers and create extra dimensions and an extra richness to each other.
Yeah.
And I think that just as this has become a map and a project that has been about losing and loving and grieving and letting go, that the video game has the potential to work with something like poetry. Poetry for me, it gives voice to the things that we don't necessarily have an easy way of being able to talk about. Video games give us a way of being able to immerse ourselves within those things, to create a dialogue, to experience, and to experiment with in a gentle way, in a way that is creative and asks questions.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of young people,
And it's accessible.
authentic, accessible, unintimidating, accessible again. It's all. So that kind of covers it all up for us at the moment. If you've got any kind of questions and stuff like that, and this is on YouTube, you can leave them in the comments below. That'd be fine. And do watch the other piece, the kind of whole walkthrough piece, and that'll show you
because
the
if you
plan.
do that, you can actually see what's behind this door.
Yeah.
And then you can download the map and play it for yourself.
Yeah, so all this is going to be done for that, so you can have a good old look around it and
good old nosy and have a look in some chests. And,
we got all sorts of stuff hidden around the place.
I think before we go, I think it's just a really big thank you to the writing platform. I will turn my head the right way, because without this opportunity, we wouldn't have been able to spend the time and collaborate on this and have the opportunity to share it with other people. So it's been brilliant. I'm really grateful, and we hope you've enjoyed the vlogs, and we hope you enjoy the final video and have a go at playing the map.
Indeed.
And maybe build your own.
Indeed.
Woo-hoo.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Right, we're going to go. Bye. 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 Bye.